Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I've got another monthly everyday makeup drawer video for you. We're going to be talking about the products that I used in January, what I thought about them, what I loved, what I think I might be decluttering, and then I'm also going to be showing you what's new in the stash for February. If you guys are new here to my channel, my name is Lauren. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and chatting about some beauty goodness. I try to do these videos every month. It's a relatively new series here on my channel, but I really wanted to encourage myself to try to use the products I already own, really learn to rediscover and love things that I bought 6 months or a year ago. So this whole series is to encourage me to essentially shop my stash. And I'll also be showing and sharing with you guys new products that I've received in PR that I've purchased that are going to be in the rotation as well. I recently did a massive declutter series on my channel, so I will link that for you guys up here in the cards as well as in the description box if you want to check it out. I went through my entire makeup collection and decluttered the whole thing. It was pretty epic. Every video is like 40 minutes long. I'm just warning you, but if you love decluttering, I would recommend checking that out. So this is the first everyday makeup drawer video I'm filming post my annual declutter, so I'm feeling extra excited, extra inspired by my makeup collection because all that I own now are things that I really love and I'm excited to play with, so I cannot wait to show you guys what I've picked out. But first, I want to do a recap with you guys of what I used in January and what I'm going to be moving back into storage for the next month. So I just talked about these guys in my recent beauty report video. I will link that for you up here in the cards if you haven't seen it yet. So this is the new Revlon Photo Ready Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. I also have the Candid Antioxidant Concealer. And in general, I like the foundation. Wasn't such a huge fan of the concealer. Again, I would check out the beauty report video if you want more of my in-depth thoughts on these guys. But essentially, they're more natural finish type products, good for a light makeup day. I think the foundation gives you a nice healthy glow to the skin without being too overly luminous. It gives nice light to medium coverage, and I generally enjoyed wearing this for days like today where I'm kind of a little bit more chill. But the concealer was just a little bit too sheer for my personal preferences. So the only reason I'm going to be putting this back into my storage for this month is that I have another BB type cream that I want to test out, but I'm sure I will come back to this soon. But this guy I probably will just pass along to a friend because I have so much concealer and I didn't fall in love with this. And there are so many other new concealer launches like from e.l.f. and Milani and Makeup Forever and Fenty that I'm more interested in trying. I don't really want to waste this and just hold on to it and force myself to use it, so I think I will pass this guy along to a friend. As far as bronzer goes, I had picked out the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer to use in the month of January because I've been trying to pan this freaking thing for what feels like an eternity now, and I still haven't hit pan yet. So I think for now, I'm just going to put this back into storage for a little while. I'm not going to declutter it yet because it seems to still be fine. It's performing well. It smells the same as it smelled before. So even though I know it's old, I'm not going to consider it expired unless it starts to look or feel weird. But I want to move on to something else. So you'll see what that is in a little bit. Now, the other bronzer that I also used in the last month is this guy. It's the Maybelline City Bronzer. I picked this up kind of early on in January on a whim. I was at Bed Bath & Beyond while I was away on a business trip in New Jersey. So they had different things in their stores there than I had in my stores here back in Connecticut. So I was excited when I saw this on the shelves and I decided to pick it up. Also, prices way cheaper down there than they are up here. Just saying. And this ended up being a total dark horse favorite because I was not excited about this product. I hadn't heard anybody talking about it. I just picked it up completely blind and it ended up being really nice. It's very smooth, easy to blend, and it's very buildable. It has a little bit more of a warm, neutral undertone to it, so it definitely gives more of a bronzed appearance than a contoured appearance on the face, but it's not too orange to make it not work as a contour. So I really enjoy this. I definitely am going to be reaching for it again in future months. I just, again, wanted to give it a little break so I could use something else this month. Now, the blush I primarily used in January is the Jouer Blush Bouquet in the shade Adore, and I adore this blush duo. It's so stinking pretty. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I don't want to retire it from my rotation, but I know I would like to move on to some other blushes that I have in my collection that I love and haven't used in a while. But I will 100% be coming back to this because it is so neutral and flattering. It goes with pretty much any makeup look that I do. It's easy to work with. It blends beautifully on the skin. It never looks patchy. It never looks harsh. It's just so good. And the packaging is beautiful. I really like it. So this one, definitely a love, definitely a recommend. Now, this guy I also talked about in my monthly beauty report video. This is the Flower Beauty Blush Balm, and I still have kind of mixed feelings about this. I didn't fall in love with it, but I didn't hate it either. I'm gonna be moving on to something else as far as a cream blush goes for February, but I may in the future purchase another one of these in a different shade and then compare them to see if it's just this color and that's the reason I don't like it, or if it's truly the formula. This was just almost too much of a bronzery tone on me. It didn't really look blushy, and I think that's part of the reason why I didn't love it. So I'm not going to declutter it yet. I'm going to just like put it back into storage, but yeah, still on the fence about this guy. Now, I had 3 highlights in the rotation that I'm moving back into my makeup storage this month. First was the Fenty Beauty Killawatt Freestyle Highlighter in the shade Hustla Baby. This is a beautiful, like peachy gold, almost has like a pink kind of shift to it type of highlight. It's really stunning, very, very blinding on the cheeks. I'm glad I have a mini of this and not the full size because I don't know how I would ever go through an entire full size pan of this stuff. And the mini is the perfect amount for me to try it. So I enjoy this, I like it. I'm sure I will be returning to it again in the future, but kind of ready to give it a break since I picked this up in the holidays and I've been using it pretty consistently over the last couple of months. I also had picked out the Physicians Formula Butter Highlight to use this month, and it was really nice to return to this guy because it's one of those products that's really awesome and I hadn't used it for months. Now, this is a cream highlight that dries down to a kind of almost like powder finish, and it leaves a beautiful, kind of a little bit sparkly sheen. I do think it has tiny kind of like micro glittery, shimmery particles in it, but it doesn't look too unnatural in the skin. Like if you buff it out, it's just gonna give you a really healthy sheen. And yeah, I really enjoyed returning back to this. You can also like tap it all over the lid, use it as an eyeshadow. I did that a couple of times on days where I didn't have more than a few minutes to do my makeup and I just wanted to look like a little bit more put together. This is a really easy like 2-in-1 tap it on with your fingers kind of product. And then I also purchased within the last month this Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Bloom Time. So this is something I had been testing and trying out in January. And this is a beautiful blush topper. I really like this shade a lot. This is one of the newest shades that's just launched from Wet n Wild in this formula. It's very soft, very pigmented, super shiny, but it doesn't, again, look like too crazy or harsh or metallic on the skin. Oh, the shine though. And this one has a very strong pink shift to it. It's got like a pink base with a gold kind of champagne shift. So I personally like this as a blush topper more so than as a traditional highlight. So placement wise, I tend to just put it slightly lower on the cheekbone than if I was using a lighter highlight, just so that way I don't look like I have blush coming up to my eyeballs. But in general, I'm really glad I decided to pick up this shade. I think it's really flattering. I've enjoyed using it this month, and I had not used this Wet n Wild formula in a long time. I do also own the shade Precious Petals, which is similar to this, but it is slightly more like peachy toned than pink toned. They both have that kind of same goldish duochrome kind of flip to them, but they are different. So Precious Petals is one I've owned for a really long time, and I honestly haven't really reached for since last summer. So it was nice to return to the Mega Glow formula to try a different color. And yeah, these are so affordable. They're like less than $5 and definitely really, really nice to work with. Now, this next product is something that's not actually being removed from my everyday makeup drawer, but I kind of re-fell in love with it in January, so I wanted to talk about it. And that is the Too Faced Natural Face Palette. So I brought this traveling with me on that business trip to New Jersey I mentioned earlier, and it just reminded me how much I absolutely love this palette. You get 2 bronzers, 2 blushes, and 2 highlights in here, so if you're traveling, it is perfect to basically give you enough options to not get bored with doing your makeup, but not like overwhelming you with a bunch of stuff you don't need. The shades in here are beautifully pigmented. They're easy to work with. They look so nice on the face. The highlights are super beaming. The blushes are really flattering. I would say this warm pink shade you need to use a little bit of a lighter hand with. And the same thing with this bronzer, Tropic Like It's Hot. This is a little too red for me to use as a bronzer, but I love it as a blush. And all in all, I feel like my makeup looked great the entire time that I was traveling, and this just made it so easy for me to do my face. I love working with these. They smell like vanilla coconuts. It's delicious. The compact is absolutely stunning. And this is just probably, like, of all the face palettes that I own, like, this is probably my ultimate favorite because it has everything I want in it. It doesn't have anything that I don't use, and it's just super easy to work with. It's kind of the best. Okay, so moving on to eyes, I would say within the last month, really the last 2 months even, I have been really enjoying using all of my like liquid glitters and my pigments and all my fun sparkly stuff in my collection and layering them over eyeshadow looks using my other palettes, just like getting kind of creative. It's been a lot of fun for me. These Warrior glitters, for example, from Flower Beauty, I think are awesome. I have 3 shades. This one is called Bullet. It's more of kind of like a taupey grayish color with silver glitter. This is so stunning over a smoky eye, so I definitely loved using this, and also the shade Bullet this month. I actually used that in an Instagram tutorial that I posted a couple of weeks ago. I also had been really loving using the JCat Vanity Goddess Chromatic Pigments in the last month. This one here is Mirror on the Wall, and I did not use this one on camera on my eyes when I did the review video of these, so I made a point to make sure that this was in my everyday makeup drawer and that I used it in this last month. And I definitely got a ton of compliments on this shadow in my declutter series, because I'm pretty sure this is the shade I had tapped all over my lid in the intro of all those videos. Oh my god, it's so cool. It's got this like really neat sort of like blue, green, red, duochrome, trichrome kind of shift. So much fun. So yeah, these are kind of messy. They're a little bit difficult to work with, but they leave just like the most beautiful shine on your eyes. And then I honestly didn't get enough use out of this NYX pigment. This is in the shade Viva Las Vegas. I think it's stunning, but I just didn't end up reaching for it, and I want to try to use some other things this month, so gonna put this back in storage, but I'm sure I'll return to it in the future. Now, something that I loved this month, and I'm actually keeping in my everyday makeup drawer, is this Kaja Bouncy Bento eyeshadow trio in the shade Orange Blossom. This thing is amazing. This is like the best, most handy little trio for either like fancy looks or everyday looks, because it just makes you look more put together in about 0.2 seconds. This is just a little stack, a little trio of super shimmery, shiny eyeshadows, and you can literally just pop them on your lids with your fingers. I honestly think they go on better with your fingers than a brush. That's how I like to apply them. So some days I'll just throw a little bronzer or a little bit of like a neutral brown shadow in the crease and then one of these on the lid, mascara, boom, call it a day. Or if I'm doing a more intricate makeup look, I can still tap one of these on the lid to add the extra sparkle. So whether I'm going full glam or like more natural glam, this is just such a great go-to product. So definitely going to be keeping this at arm's reach this month. And then to go along with it, I have been reaching for this guy a lot this month because it has such great neutral shadows, both for glam looks and for everyday ones. This shade here, light brown, is like the perfect crease transition shade to go along with this guy. These are like a little match made in heaven. So this is the palette from the Persona Cosmetics Copper Color Theory kit. So the whole kit also comes with a brush and an eyeliner. I don't believe you can purchase this guy separately as of yet, but the whole kit's like 30 bucks. It's such a good deal. And this little quint is just an amazing eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love it. You get 2 nice kind of shimmery shades and 3 mattes, super easy to work with. So basically anytime I just needed a few pretty neutral colors or I wanted a nice little pop-up inner corner highlight to use with this, this was like the best go-to. Now, I currently have 2 mascaras in the rotation. I am going to hold on to the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara for 1 more month, and then I think it will be about 3 months old. It's already starting to get a little bit clumpy, a little bit less than ideal. I don't love the way that this guy ages. It starts to get kind of just like chunky clumpy after about a month. So that sucks considering how expensive this is. But if you like very voluminous, dramatic lashes, I mean, this mascara is gonna give it to you. So not gonna throw this guy away yet, but it's getting to the end of its shelf life. This, however, which is the Fabulous Flocking Lashes from the Beauty Crop, I just am not a real big fan of waterproof mascara. Now, I will say this guy, because it's like a tubing mascara, is much, much easier to remove than some other waterproof formulas I've tried. So I don't hate this. I just don't really feel like it does very much for my lashes. You have to really, really build it up, and even then, it's gonna make them look blacker, but it's not really gonna make them look thicker. So if you're someone that likes a very light, natural mascara look, and you want something waterproof, this may be right up your alley. I mean, it's got argan oil and jojoba oil in it, so it's nourishing for your lashes. It's not gonna dry them out. I think it's a decent formula in that respect. It just doesn't do enough for me personally with my mascara preferences. So I think I'm probably just going to declutter this because I can't really give a used mascara to somebody else. But yeah, this is not something I would repurchase in the future. Finally, on the eye front, I had picked out this palette from the Balm to try to use in January because it's relatively new to my collection and I hadn't utilized it that much. And honestly, I still really haven't had a chance to use most of the shades in here. I primarily reached for these 2 sort of little duos up here and, well, this one too. Basically the whole top row I've used a bit, but I haven't really experimented with these colorful shades on the bottom yet. I definitely would like to try to do that this month because the quality of these shadows is really nice. I think the Balm makes great powder products. The metallics are not like the most foiled metallics you've ever seen, but they do leave a nice kind of shine on the eyes, and the matte shades are really, really easy to work with and to blend out. So I'm gonna need to come back to this. So far, I like it. It's just that I really haven't had a chance to get inspired to reach for these bottom shades. And then finally, we've got the lip products. I'm rotating out a whole bunch of stuff for February because I have too many lip products. If you saw my lip product declutter, you know I still kept a bit, even though I got rid of a lot. So I really want to make the intention to try to rotate through my lip stash as much as possible. So I am putting my MAC Powder Kiss lipstick in Devoted to Chili back into storage. I did enjoy using this in the last month, and I think it's a beautiful shade. I just think this formula is not my favorite lipstick formula. It's a little bit slippy, and I find that it can get a little bit messy and kind of transfer outside the lip line fairly easily, which is not the best with a bold kind of red shade. So while I like this and I'm not gonna get rid of it, I think I'm just ready to take a break from it. The same thing goes for my ColourPop Luxe lipstick in the shade Foolish. I love this color. It's such a nice burnt orange, rusty kind of red. Really, really pretty for fall and winter. But I just am ready to take a break. I'm going to be reaching for, as you're about to see, a lot more vibrant red orange shades in February. I just kind of wanted to switch things up from these dark, drab sort of fall winter shades. I need some life right now with it being so freaking cold outside. I also had picked out a couple of glosses to use in January that I really enjoyed, and these guys are actually very, very similar on the lips. This is the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine lip gloss in the shade Beso, yes, and this is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Patent Lip Lacquer in the shade Pout. Funny, Beso, which means kiss, and Pout. Very similar in all the ways. So these are both shiny, kind of more mauve-y, berry-toned lip glosses. They're beautiful. They're both very hydrating, but both also kind of more thick and true lip gloss textures on the lips. So these are not for the kind of people that don't like the feeling of lip gloss. They're glossy lip glosses, but I enjoyed them. They were fun to reach for. I just, as I said before, need to switch it up and try some other things. And then I totally failed at using these red lip products that I said I wanted to use in January. I love red lips, but for whatever reason, it just never ended up happening. So I'm gonna put these back into my storage because, again, there were a few other lip products I wanted to try out this month. So maybe we'll try red again in March or April. All right, guys, so on that note, I am going to take you over to my vanity so we can take a look at the new products that I've picked out to put in my everyday stash for February. All right, so let's talk about what is new here for this month. I'm super curious about this particular shade of the Pixie liquid lipstick. This is red orange, so maybe I'll channel a little bit of warm vibes. It's been so cold here lately, so I was feeling a fiery orange red this month. I also haven't tried this orange shade of the Almay lipstick yet, so I wanted to hold on to these guys and try them a little bit more. I also have 2 shades of the Physicians Formula Butter Lipstick. I talked about these in my January beauty report, so I've been using them for a couple of weeks now, but I'd like to continue to use them a little bit more into February. I also grabbed this Shiseido lipstick. This is in the shade Coral Shore, and I've only swatched this. I haven't actually ever put it on my lips yet, and it is definitely more of a springtime color, but again, I'm kind of ready to start channeling those vibes, so I wanted to test this guy out. I kept my flower lipstick in Spiced Petal from last month, as well as my Dose of Colors Hey Girl lipstick. They're both really nice nudes. And then I grabbed my 2 Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche lipsticks. I have Fig here and Sweet Cream. These are both, again, really pretty sort of pinky, more spring summery type shades, and I just felt in the mood to use these guys. So nothing has changed as far as new concealers that I've added to my collection. I just removed the Revlon one that I wasn't a super huge fan of. Also, I did get an actually better shade match of the Maybelline Superstay. This one is in 128 Warm Nude, so I think I'm just going to declutter the one I had before. It was always kind of too dark for me, so I'm glad to have one that's in a better shade match on hand. So in addition to using up my IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, I also grabbed this one from Revlon that I've been meaning to try for an eon. This is the Volumizing Mascara, so it kind of reminds me, the brush is a little bit like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, but so far I feel like this is a lot less volumizing than the L'Oreal one. So we'll see. I'll definitely have to continue to give it a try, and I'll keep you guys posted. So in my primer and powder foundation drawer, we've got a new face here. I picked up the new Superstay powder foundation from Maybelline when I also got a new shade of the liquid. So I've only used this about once or twice now. I'm definitely excited to test it out this month and let you guys know what I think, especially since I enjoy powder foundation and I love the liquid version of this so much. My Wander is the same, Bare Minerals is the same. This guy here is very much panned, but I want to try to use up more of this powder before I dive into a new compact. I just don't want to be wasteful. There's still quite a bit here. And then I've got all my little samples here that I've been using. I have a feeling that I'm almost out of this Yensa primer, but we'll see how that goes this month. Then this second drawer, I've pretty much completely switched up, which I do like to do because I have so many blushes, bronzers, and highlights. I like to try to rotate through them. So what I'm going to be using this month are the Makeup Forever Artist Sculpting Powder in the shade S112. This is such a beautiful contouring powder if you have a fair to light complexion. Stunning, absolutely obsessed with it, so I'm really glad to have this guy back out in the rotation. I also grabbed my Ofra All the Lights highlight. This is basically like a little quad in one pan that has Ofra's best-selling highlight shades. It has, let's see, Blissful, Rodeo Drive, Star Island, and Pillow Talk. So pretty pumped to be using this guy again this month. I also grabbed the Balm's Mary Luminizer. This is like the OG highlights of OG highlights. It is a beautiful golden, super reflective product. Oh my god, it's just like creamy and buttery and amazing. So I'm really excited to be using this. And I never got a chance to really use this all that much when it first hit the stores, and this compact is relatively new to me, so I'm really excited to give it more of a proper go. I mean, let's just swatch this for a second so you can see. Isn't that just so pretty? And I'm not even in really great lighting right now. I feel like you can't really see how reflective and gorgeous this is, but yeah, definitely excited to be using it this month. Then I grabbed 2 powder blushes. I got the Bare Minerals Gen Nude powder blush in the shade Peachy Keen. This is a gorgeous, sort of like peachy coral color. I love this on the cheeks. Oh man, and this powder is so buttery soft. It's beautiful. I feel like this shade just gives you the most healthy kind of flush to your cheeks, and it's never harsh, and it has like a little bit of a sheen, but it's not really glowy. It's just super stunning, so very pumped to be using this guy again. And then finally, this is a blush from Dose of Colors. It was part of their Mint For You collection that was limited edition, I think a year or two ago. And this is the shade Statement, which is a really, really pretty sort of peachy pink color. So this is very, very soft. It's got a matte finish. It's a little bit lighter than the Bare Minerals one, but again, just looks really healthy and pretty on the cheeks. So very excited to be using that guy. And then for my cream products, I grabbed my Wander Beauty On The Glow Blush Duo, which is in, I think, Nude Glow and Bare. And then I have my Benefit Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. I always like to have a couple cream options on hand for minimal makeup days. And then in the bottom drawer, there are definitely some new things in here. Following my declutter a couple weeks ago, I basically added in this Brow Food Clear Brow Gel that I had sitting around in my stash that I totally forgot about, that I wanted to try out. I also just recently picked up this Tattoo Studio Brow Pomade from Maybelline, so I want to test this. I've got my Kaja still in here, which is, you know, my addiction. Oh, this NYX Eyebrow Gel, I also found this in my stash that I had totally forgotten I had and wanted to try to see if it was still any good. And then I added in this Dose of Colors Ideal Duo. This is basically a cream shadow on one side, if I can open it. So you've got this cream on one side, and then here you have a coordinating loose powder pigment that's super sparkly and pretty. So I haven't reached for this guy in ages and figured if I put it in here, maybe I would be inspired to give it a whirl. So yeah, I feel pretty good now because I essentially have all of my gel liners, pop primers, and all my brow products in this drawer, so that way I can actually make sure that I utilize them. Then we have the lip product jar, which is where I keep all my like glosses and liquid lipsticks and whatnot that I want to use for the month. So let me show you guys what's in here. So after my declutter series, I decided I was just gonna keep all of my lip liners in this jar on my vanity, so that way I'll actually reach for them regularly. I'm not always the greatest about reaching for lip liners, but they can be really handy. So these are all the lip liners I kept, so I'm just gonna leave these guys out here basically for the foreseeable future. And then these are my other lip picks. I decided not to go too crazy because February is a short month. I don't necessarily wear makeup every day, and I have 12 bullet lipsticks picked out. So I didn't need like 28 lip options to wear this month. I don't think it's realistic to try to wear a different shade every single day this month. So this is what I picked out. I grabbed the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Lips liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Sweetheart, which is a really pretty pink. I have my Color Lit liquid lipstick in the shade Stunner, which is something I kept from January. I grabbed the ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Calypso. This was something after my declutter I realized I had not used in an eon, so I thought it might be a good idea to put this one back in the rotation. My Butter London Sheer Wisdom Lush Lip Oil in Cinnamon Spice. I freaking love this product. It is one of my favorite lip gloss type products ever. It's so creamy and moisturizing and shiny, but like never sticky, and it's fantastic. I love it. Then I have this Motives All Day Liquid Stick in the shade Sultry. This is actually a surprisingly beautiful like lip lacquer type product. It's very, very pigmented, very shiny, but it is a little bit sticky. That being said, it's kind of long wearing, so I like that for the right occasion. I've gotten a lot of compliments whenever I've worn this in the past. And then, of course, staying on the red-orange train because I can't help myself, I grabbed this Lancome L'Absolu Lacquer in the shade Be Happy. Is that what you are? I think so. It's kind of like a pretty red-orange, and I definitely have not used this enough, so I just want to play around with this guy this month. Finally, I have this Nude Sticks pencil. This is a gel color lip and cheek balm in the shade Haven, which is a gorgeous nude. This is one of my favorite products from Nude Sticks for the lips that I've ever tried. So as you can see, it's definitely been sharpened many times before, and I haven't used it in months, so I wanted to try it again. So a little new organizational thing I've started doing is keeping all of my loose powders in a basket inside of my vanity because I do have a couple of shelves, and before they were just kind of stacked loose in there, and it was really annoying anytime I wanted to get to a product that was stored behind them. So I've just decided to throw them all in here for easy access. I also threw this new Wet n Wild makeup locker in here. This is actually a BB cream that has a built-in corrector and highlighter right in the top. This is a new launch from Wet n Wild that I just picked up very recently, and it didn't fit with my other foundations in my little desktop organizer thing that I have here on my vanity. So I just decided to throw this in here in this bin with everything else, so that way I'll remember to use it and test it. And then as for the rest of the stuff that's in here, I did finally buy the new Fenty Pro Filter powder. It is beautiful. It smells like cupcakes. It's delicious. And so far I've been really enjoying it, but I've only used it a couple of times. So this is definitely something I'm going to be testing out thoroughly this month. I also got this guy because I'd never tried it before, and I've heard so many people within the beauty community rave about this powder. It's the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I've tried the pressed one before and it was fine, but it didn't blow me away. So I am really curious to see how this compares to like my other high-end powders, because I don't have anything drugstore that's a loose powder. This guy is also new. Now this is a highlighting powder, but again, it's big and bulky and it doesn't really fit anywhere else in my collection on my vanity, so I just decided to throw it in here. This is one of the new powder Mega Glow highlights in the shade I'm So Lit. It is pretty darn stunning, but also pretty darn messy. And then everything else I believe you guys have seen before: my Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, Milk Setting Powder, the Pretty Vulgar one, and then these guys are like sunscreen infused powders, the Derma E one and the Tarte one. So that's my little powder basket. I like this little storage mechanism. I think it's gonna work really well for me. Now I didn't want to drag them all out of here, but as you can see, I keep all of my setting sprays inside of my vanity here, and one of the things I want to do more this month is try to use setting spray consistently, because as I was doing my declutter series, I realized I had a lot and I wasn't going through them. So like this big bottle back here is the Ofra setting spray, so I've started to test that out. Got a couple of Pixie ones here that are new, so I've been testing these. So I definitely will have more to share with you guys at the end of the month as to which ones I really liked. So when it comes to this jar here, which is my primers, there's nothing new here, nothing new in the eyeliners, so I don't really have any updates to share on that front. But I did have a couple of eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to kind of put the intention to use this month. It's Valentine's Day in less than 2 weeks, and I feel like the Huda Beauty new nude palette is basically the quintessential Valentine's Day palette. Look at all those beautiful mauves and berry tones. So this is something I would love to use more this month. And then I also feel like I never really gave this Suva Beauty Protege palette a proper test. I've used it a few times, but I haven't used all of the shades. So I'd essentially like to really formulate my thoughts on this month and decide whether or not it's a palette that I really like and want to keep. So I'm gonna try to use this guy as well. All right guys, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope it was fun to see what's in my everyday makeup stash for February, to kind of shop my stash with me. If you did enjoy this video and you like this kind of series, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate your support. And if you're not subscribed to my channel and you want to see more of my videos in the future, make sure you click that button before you click out of this video. And on that note, I've got to run because I've got to edit all this footage so I can get this video up for you guys, hopefully today, because it's already late. Life has been, it's been a little crazy. I've had some changes, had some things happen. I'll have to fill you guys in like a getting ready with me video or something like that in the near future. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go, get back to your day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.